Hello guys. Today another one from my DVD vault here. American Beauty. This is one of my favorite movies, and covering this because the movie has got a very reputation as of late for several different things, and I'll get to those in a little bit. But first, let's talk a little bit about it. This movie came out in 1999. It's 2 hours and 2 minutes long. It has 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb with about 1.1 million user votes. It has 80 has 84% on Metacritic with about 212 critics. The movie is directed by Sam Mendez, who also did what else did he do? Oh, he produced 1917. I love that movie. That was a great movie. I'm glad to see him still doing stuff. It stars Kevin Spacey, who we known for God, so many things. I'll just say House of Cards because that's what most people know from him nowadays. And Annette Bening, who was also in I'll say The Grifters. We'll say that. And on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 87% by critics, 190 critics, and 93% by audience people, about 250,000-ish audience people. Critics' consensus is flawlessly cast and brimming with dark as acid wit. American Beauty is a smart, provocative high point of late 90s mainstream Hollywood film. Yeah, that's about right. Um, on for streaming, it is streaming on Hoopla. That's the only thing though. It is available to rent and buy on Amazon, AMC On Demand, Google Play, YouTube, Vudu, Microsoft Store, Redbox, Apple TV, and DirecTV. And it was released on DVD in the year 2000. Um, so a couple of reasons why this movie's reputation kind of, I wouldn't say took a dive, but kind of made it a little bit more people not as enthusiastic to watch it. One is, to a lesser extent, is this movie does borderline pretentiousness in a few areas. Like, it does get pretentious, but I think it only happened because nowadays the stuff that the movie kind of tackles, either word wise or kind of symbolically, is very, can borderline obviousness, and it can come across as, hey, look, this is what it means kind of stuff. But in that time period the movie came out, those stuff was still very important to look at and talk about, and it was still a thing in the 90s. The stuff that was important in the 90s nowadays doesn't age well because of growth. Our society and culture has grown a lot since then, and it's moved on from the stuff that was important then. And the way the movie tackles it really highlights those things, and it doesn't age well now. And another thing, which is something that most people would think about, is the fact that this movie stars Kevin Spacey, and this character kind of has a thing for a high schooler. Now, I don't remember if the high schooler was underage or 18 or not, but they were a high schooler, so it doesn't matter. It's still weird. And basically it kind of ignites an enthusiasm from him. He kind of goes through kind of a midlife crisis, but the thing is that the movie never like really talks about what the character flaws or why the characters go through what they're going through. It lets it be told through how they act, how they behave, what they do, who they do it with. I mean, it's told through that. So while nobody ever says, "Oh, you're materialistic," "Oh, you're going through a midlife crisis," you see it happening. It's more of it's being shown and not told to us. It's just this film does it in kind of an obvious manner, so it can come across as pretentious, but keep in mind it's still important stuff back then, and it holds up well. Now, like I said, Kevin Spacey went through a period where he was accused of stuff. He was found out guilty, and he wasn't charged by it or whatever, but when that happened, a lot of people looked at his work and kind of dropped him a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, I was always a Kevin Spacey fan. Like, House of Cards was huge when I got into it. I loved House of Cards. I watched a lot of his stuff. This is one of the first movies I really, really watched, and yeah, I'm probably always going to be a Kevin Spacey fan, and and it's weird because even though like a lot of people still kind of give the weird isms to him, and yeah, I get it. It's just it's not something that's going to be easy for me to like really see, and on a technical level, he still now if he was fully convicted and all that, I don't probably wouldn't be doing this video. If he was full on like there, then yeah, we his work would probably get shunned. But he wasn't. But it's a complicated thing. But overall, if you're a fan, you're a fan. I mean, when it's something like if it's a case that's kind of like what happened to someone you like that's happening, and it's not just with Spacey, it was with a lot of people. Sometimes you just kind of have to read between the lines and just decide for yourself. And for me, I still enjoy his work. Unless something major happens, I'm not gonna stop. um but yeah, this is a great movie. Like I said, that's kind of a big thing there. But outside, but yeah, that's out of the way. Basically, this movie, everything else, it is really good because the reason for him like because the triggering point was when he kind of sees this, like I said, that underage slash high school, whatever age they were, girl. And by the way, that girl's no saint either, but I'll make it clear right away. Nothing really happens. It gets close towards the end, but nothing really happens. Really, the girl represented to him in his mind, it was like a psychological trigger to make him realize, oh my god, I still have a life. I've been asleep, and now I want to make something of myself a little bit. And we kind of see him go through this change where he kind of starts, it is kind of a midlife crisis, but the way they show it and frame it makes you kind of feel it. And when you're young, you don't really get it, but once you get a little older and you start and you put a little more miles on your soul, you can get what these characters are coming from. You see their warness, you see their fight to find something, to keep something of themselves, and you kind of get it. Or to find something for the first time, or keep something they've had, or to find something they lost. And this movie does capture that pretty well. It does come across as pretentious at times, don't get me wrong, but I just still enjoy this film. I just think it just has something in it to me that just feels like a lot of relatableness. And yeah, I kind of can get some of the main characters kind of decision making is really rough. But when shit came to shit, he made the right choices, and that's the key thing. It's very easy to criticize someone in those situations in movies and stuff, but people. But yeah, it is a story, and it does represent key things about people who go through shit, and it just kind of reminds you that life can be tough sometimes. Even on the outside, everything seems fine. People still go through shit, and yeah, I really do. This film does deserve a little bit more. I'm not gonna say respect because that sounds pretty needy, but I think this film does deserve a little bit more acknowledgement. I think it's kind of been shut down in recent years because it may not age the best, because it was really talking about what was a big issue in the 90s that really issues in the 90s that didn't age well overall. And the Kevin Spacey stuff kind of throws people off a little bit, especially with the plot of the film. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it was one of those things where I say try it. If you don't like it, I can understand why you don't like it, because it is kind of pretentious. And if you like it, it's probably because it's a little pretentious. And it does snapshot the 90s reasonably well. It's a kind of a good snapshot of that time period, which, as we get further and further away from it, the more and more it kind of sticks out in people's minds. So who knows? Maybe that kind of stuff will hold up better now. Hard to say. We'll just have to see. But yeah, overall, this movie is around. You know, you can find this movie anywhere. But like I said, don't let the Kevin Spacey stuff throw you off to this film. Because while this film is definitely, I think he won Best Actor for this movie. Um, don't I say, from what I know and what I can gather, I say don't turn away from Kevin Spacey stuff yet. I know I sound like a proponent for Kevin Spacey, but I just don't like when, because there was a while where everyone's getting canceled. There was another person, this is a big side note, but it's related. My Corey, she was a big Jenna Marbles fan, and then she quit YouTube because a video she did a long time ago surfaced that was not good, but she apologized and everything for it. She did all the right stuff, and she was younger and stuff, and everyone bullied her, and she quit YouTube because of it. And this person who barely did anything wrong completely quit something, and it ruined everything for something that, to be honest, wasn't really something that could have been moved on from. And yeah, I get people do wrong stuff, people can be stupid. This is really turning into something else, this video. I guess my main point is don't let the media dictate what you think of people. Do the research yourself, dig yourself, figure out the truth, and figure out what you like and what you don't. Because nowadays, the way the media looks at everyone and what they do and what they don't do, it's very easy to just shut people off because you see a mistake they made in the past, or they got sucked into something shady that they may not be in anymore, but they still get punished because they were in it nonetheless. So don't get caught up in that. Do your homework and take a look. Don't just assume, because that kind of stuff can kind of cause a lot of stuff to be erased, and yeah, it's just one of those things that can be very scary. So just be careful. Man, that went a whole different turn. I just wanted to talk about a movie, and I just went a whole different way. But it's kind of it kind of became attached to this movie though, because of the later legacies that were established after this movie came out. Yeah, guys. But yeah, overall though, I do recommend this movie. Please check it out. And if you like it, let me know why you like it. If you don't like it, definitely tell me, because I'm curious. Because I can understand why someone may not like it, but I do like hearing criticisms as well as praises, just because interesting opinion's an interesting opinion. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. In case you wanted to chat with anyone at the Campy Company, you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. First one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a community tab on our channel as well. You can access that anywhere, anytime. We also have a Patreon page in the works. The main goal of the Patreon page is to raise some money for the channel so we can have a bigger budget to do more ambitious things, and also to start making merchandise for the channel as well. The merchandise itself will be geared toward aspects of the channel that you guys enjoy. So any support we get for that is much appreciated. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.